I have to make sure I don't look like half dead when I wake up in the morning, right? So,
I just roll with
sometimes
it.
lipstick helps a little bit.
I just roll with it. I mean, I was the one that picked these hours, but otherwise it would be the after. It might be the afternoon. The morning steam is a double entendre on what happens with the lines, maybe overnight, but also when you're going to work and the steam's coming through the off the train you're on, or through the manhole, whatever. There on that intro, anyways.
That
That's
was
just
awesome.
for
I loved it.
you. A tribute for you. We'll clean that up, make it a little bit neater, but. Anyways, Mindy, a good Sunday yesterday. We had that football game. It turned out to be pretty exciting. The game, I would say, between Florida State and LSU. It got a little exciting at the end. And nothing like fumbling at the one and then almost going 99 yards, and then uh, I don't know. They were just so many close plays there at the end, but a great game. But hats off to Florida State, a 2-0 start.
Heck yeah.
A little bit different, a little bit different. Florida State, they looked a little bit more interested in past years. They're all right. They're all right.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought they looked, faster, and I think that's great. I mean, it just means that they, been keeping up the talent, even though they haven't been, having those winning seasons like we're used to during all the Bowden years. But yeah, I thought it was such a great game. I, of course, had the over for the premium, so I was a little bummed there on the old missed kick and left basically 7 points, on the field there. Tons of opportunities. But yeah, it was so fun. I mean, what a great way to, to kick off the season on Monday, kind of a Sunday night. You know what I mean? I
Well,
had
it
a good
didn't
time.
look like it was going to get over, but all they needed to do was send the game into overtime, I
Correct.
think, and that
And
was
pretty
going to
much,
do it.
I mean, more than likely, each of those teams were going to score, in one of the first two overtimes there, not get to the third overtime where you only have to go for 2-point conversions.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
think
if I
that's just
like
a
that
weird
because
way to
we're
end
doomed.
games.
Yeah, that I don't know if I like that rule, but
I don't
I don't
either,
know if they're
but
going to change it. So, but it kind of leaves you hanging if you're laying 3 points or
like
something,
with
or
Houston.
getting yeah. I mean, right. So that's just the way that is, I guess. If it goes to that point, gotta they gotta do it. They gotta go for two. So and yesterday, I think the house. I mean, I think the house nearly swept. I think that was a pretty good result for the bookmakers actually in that game because you know with it ending up just on a 1 point difference. I'm not sure what you folks think out there, but we'd like to hear what you think. Let's hear from you in the chat. Go ahead and type in any questions or comments or predictions on
Right.
today's card. It's a holiday, so we've got plenty of day games in baseball, but uh, also, we want to talk about our website, Mindy, tonyspicks.com. We're a multi-handicapper website with a dozen handicappers making premium picks each and every day over at Tony's Picks. You can use the promo code TonyT to save 20% at checkout on all premium pick packages. And maybe we could check out some of the results from yesterday on the site, see who's hot, see who's not. Well, let's
Right.
talk about maybe who is hot. I think that's a better strategy there. And let's take a look over at the site and see what everybody's got rolling. Because, like I said, there's day games today, so I know there'll be packages up and ready for those. I think there's I want to say 6 day games. One of them's that doubleheader where
Yep.
we really don't even know. Sometimes we can guess the lines, or we've seen a couple trickle out, but I don't think we've seen any lines yet on that doubleheader today, and it's a big one between Toronto and Baltimore. Those are two very interesting games. So it looks like light action, and nobody really crushed it on the boards over there, but Daniel and the GM and Tony and Tiffany all end up with a game over, but still have some people doing some good damage over the last 7 days. You got Nick, you got Collins, who's having a great start. I think he's having the best start of anybody in college football, hitting close to 67% so far, and mostly SEC.
Right.
I'm not going to put two and two together. We looked at the results and we saw that he did have a total or two too also, but the SEC, obviously after conclusion of the first week, well, nothing's changed as far as the world order, right? I mean, the SEC looks pretty strong, and I don't
Yeah,
know, Mindy. You see some of these other teams now that were in action. I mean, who is going to end up, getting past Alabama? I mean,
no one.
okay, well,
I don't think so. I mean, not right now anyway. No one's really going to show that they can. I don't know. As of right now, Ohio State doesn't look like they might be able to hit that kind of stride either. So it's going to be interesting to see. They just look pretty dominant the way it is
and
right
they'll
now.
have to play somebody. But at this point, I mean, I'm sure everybody has them at the top of their rankings, unless they want to be a little bit odd and just go with someone else. But Nick's got a guaranteed Monday CFL best bet. We talked about the holiday, Mindy. It's Labor Day, and it's Labor Day in Canada as well. So traditional CFL doubleheader: Toronto and Hamilton, Edmonton and Calgary today in CFL action. So if you want to have a complete day with daytime football, maybe you'll be involved in the doubleheader. That doubleheader starts at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. So early football, kind of like a primer for getting ready for NFL. The start times on those games. Collins has a best bet tonight in the college football game. Ben, a best bet over there in Major League Baseball tonight, and some of the other packages. The GM, he's got a best bet in baseball, and it's just $15. And there's, how about those three?
Hey, look at us.
Okay, Tiffany's got a best bet tonight in the college football game. Mindy's got a best bet tonight in baseball, and I've got a best bet also in that college football game. I don't know. We'll see if Tiffany and I are up against one another. I'm not sure, but we'll just wait and see how the results go. And of course, we haven't talked about it on our show, Mindy, but on the pick ticker, it always shows you the next event up. So if you're getting ready to make a bet, you're unsure of the game, you can always go to our pick ticker. Usually it's going to match up there. I know that eventually I think we're going to have the description of the game there, Mindy. I think a lot of people can conclude what game it is unless there's multiple games in the start time.
Right.
But also you can
And like
see
you said, I think it was on some browsers it was showing up with the game. Other browsers, maybe not right now.
Okay. Well, I think you can actually I want to say it's either on the premium picks tab or the leaderboard tab where you can go there and actually the games do
Do show.
appear with their start time and abbreviation. Here it is right here. See on the right hand
Oh,
side.
there we go.
So you can see in Mindy in 3 hours has her $15 play right there. Mets and Pirates. Tiffany a $25 play, Twins and Yankees. Nick has it for 25, the Edmonton Calgary game. You can get the whole mix right there and have some daytime action leading up. And of course, you can see right there also the latest premium picks, including the best bet and those $15 plays, those introductory plays. Sometimes I, look at it as maybe if it's one of my sports I'm not doing as well, I lower the price, go with my $15 play. Or if it's not a high profile, like a tennis match or something, I might give the $15 play
Tease
there.
it. Yeah.
And sometimes I've given it out as the best bet as well. So, do you want to talk about what you got going on as well? We saw it, but how'd your day go? And
Yeah, so as of right now, I only have up my one Major League Baseball play. I think we might get to that college football game a little bit later. I just kind of have some slight leans on that. Nothing that I thought I would put up on the premium side there on that game. But yeah, I'll put up some more Major League Baseball. I just put that one out overnight. I get most of my data dump here in the morning at 7 a.m. my time, but been preparing for the show. So haven't quite got all of my picks in as of yet. So I will do that as soon as we're done here this morning. How about you?
well, two people I know, two people who aren't on the current leaderboards, you and I, and we are used to being very close to the top of the leaderboards. So, like we said, we've been in the show for a week, so we increased our workload a little bit, but we're not
Yep.
making excuses. We're going to give out winners today, right here on the show.
Yeah, I think we did pretty well on our free picks yesterday, I believe. I didn't really tally them up. Did you get a chance?
No, but
Yeah.
I do have it here. I do have all the games here, and as far as that card was, the baseball card was concerned, I thought it was a fun card. I liked some of the games. I didn't like necessarily the Padre game there at the end. They tried to come back, but they did fall short in
Yeah.
that one. So can't
Yeah,
beat,
I actually had the
can't beat that
Padres in
team.
that one. I didn't really like the whole pitching by committee thing there for the Dodgers, but it wound up being that just too many home runs, too strong. That Dodger team is something else.
Yeah, we talked to, and we pretty much nailed it talking about how they had that opener come in, and then Pepio coming in for the bulk of the innings. So, but anyways, things are heating up, and we do have some big time baseball games. I talked about that doubleheader, Toronto and Baltimore. Those are big time doubleheader. And how about this, Mindy? Last night we saw the Padres and the Dodgers, the standard Sunday night baseball, but at the same time, that Cleveland game had resumed. And I just want to note to everyone that if you think about how late that game ended, the Seattle Mariners, basically had to travel back all the way home, and they're going to play a twilight game, if you will, at 3:40 today. But that game got done pretty late, and then they had to travel back home from Cleveland and are not playing at the standard night game that's actually going to play at 3:40 p.m. Pacific their time. So not quite a lot of rest
Right.
for that team. So just something to note. And I don't know if that, you should think the way Seattle's playing, even though Lance Lynn, we'll talk about it, but it looks like the line has definitely shifted to the White Sox. Seattle was a early favorite there, but now it's more.
I know it's kind of crazy with that, the way it's like sitting at -110, -120. It feels like a big trap, doesn't it? Like it's it's pretty crazy when I
That's
saw
all I
that
was
line.
thinking of, is that maybe that's sharp action coming in, thinking that we're going to end up fading them right now and end up going with the White Sox. But we'll talk about that game when we get there. Might as well get into the baseball action, unless you got any questions or comments.
No, not really. It was a pretty exciting, day. I liked women's basketball. I had a lot of fun yesterday. Just tons of sporting events on. Got some NASCAR in. Just did the whole gamut there
Oh
yesterday.
yeah. Oh, and I guess if we're kind of just touching the edges there of the other sports, I watched Live Golf, a
Oh yeah.
dramatic finish with DJ knocking it in. The ball was, if it didn't go in the hole, it was going to go 10 feet past. So that was pretty exciting as well. And then the funny thing to me was when the guy got hit with an errant drive on the last hole, or on the playoff hole, and they went to interview him, and he said, well, I just really that hurt, and I feel fine, but I really just want the PGA Tour and Live Golf to get along. And they immediately shut him down and went back to the desk. But
Right.
I know we know what he meant. We know what he's talking about, and they're gonna have to figure it out. So
Yeah.
all right, we'll get into Major League Baseball, talk about some of those topics maybe as we go along. But again, we're going to be talking about day games today. So that's interesting. That's fun and interesting. Labor Day, half the card really day games and half the card at night.
Yeah, so we're starting off with my premium pick there, of course,
Oh,
today. Well, because you had showed the ticker, so it's the game everyone's been waiting for, Mets versus Pirates. But yeah, I mean, Mets are kind of coming off a kind of embarrassing loss. We were kind of talking about Fetty yesterday, which was pretty funny, I thought, kind of the whole time there too. But, I just look for this, Pirates bullpen basically to kind of implode on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the total over the 8.5 here in this one.
okay. Well, I think we're going to end up starting our day. Yesterday we talked about that Washington Mets game, and I ended up taking Fetty, but I wanted 2.5 runs, so they didn't need it. But again, the Mets, can't be necessarily losing these games to bad teams, but
All right.
they did yesterday. But I guess we're going to end up going opposite. I have the under marked down this one
Oh, okay.
between Walker and Keller. The Mets have gone under in 11 of their last 15 games as a favorite, and also Taiwan Walker, he's gone under in 14 of his last 22 games. So for me, that's the way I would look in this one. I think Walker, he's pitching okay, 3.65 ERA the last 3 games, but all 3 of them have gone under. Can't make the same excuses necessarily for Mitch Keller, but I'm still going to go under. Maybe I just want to get a win over Mindy somehow, or I don't know, but we'll be in disagreement here on one to start off.
It happens. It happens. All right. Next up. Yeah, so Minnesota, you got Archer here versus Jameson Tyone for the Yankees at minus 155. Over under is 8 in this one. The Twins are just kind of inconsistent at best here, I think. And they're a bad road team as well. Archer, he's been giving up a lot of runs here. I like the Yankees at home as well. So I mean, that Yankees price is a little bit, too much for me at the minus 185. As I had said before, I usually play like about the minus 150s on that. So I would look for something like a first 5 innings. If you could get that as a decent price, that would probably be my favorite bet. Otherwise, I would look at laying the run line here for the Yankees.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had gone with an earlier line. I mean, I certainly think that the Yankees now at minus 155 for the most part, that's a good 30
Yeah.
cents off the earliest.
Yeah, I guess they had an older line there. I'm sorry about that.
But,
Because I still
well,
had
I'm
it
just
as
wondering,
my
would
as
you reassess the selection, or do you still like the minus one
no.
and a
If
half?
I could get that,
125.
yeah. So again, I had it at minus 185 when I put my work in last night,
Yeah,
and so I
and it
didn't
was.
get that updated. But yeah, if I could get that at 150, 155, I would take the Yankees there on the money line.
Okay. I'll look to go over in this game, over the 8 with Archer and Tyone. Minnesota's gone under in just 6 of their last 24 road games, and I think that Tyone's, pitching okay. He's, consistently mediocre, I'd say at this point, but the Yankees do win his games, and the Yankees are definitely struggling to win games right now. So maybe that'll be the bats that end up determining this one at this point. I mean, we know that Minnesota's hitting pretty decently right now, and the Yankees are not. But Yankees back home against Archer. You mentioned his poor numbers, 6.75 ERA in his last 3 starts. So this has usually been a terrible place for Minnesota when they come to play in Yankee Stadium. So I don't think 8, that's going to be fine for me. I'm going to look to go over with Minnesota and the Yankees.
All right.
All right. Now, you could do what you want with this one, Mindy, and I put the second game in the middle, but just maybe we can, introduce the pitchers. I did see and hear just moments ago those pitchers start to confirm, and now I can give you a line actually on this game one. It looks like Toronto is going to be, boy, it looks like they're going to be a considerable favorite. I don't know if I want to even read this line off. I mean, I'm looking at Circa Las Vegas calling Toronto a minus 172 favorite in that game. So I'm just not sure if they're referring to the game with Archer and Gausman and Lyles, as we have here, or the later game, Berrios and Bauman. Maybe that's where I didn't see yet. Maybe there has been some mix and match with the pitchers. I'll keep up informed on that as the morning goes along here for the next half hour. See if I can get more information on that, because I did see the information just start to come out. Okay, it's going to be. I'll take this off the screen right now and read it. Game one is going to be Gausman and Bauman. That information is
Not
just
Lyles.
coming up. No, Lyles will be going in game 2. So that's where the line is on game 1. It's too high for me. 172 right now, it looks like, at Circa Las Vegas, with a total of 8 over 15. Look, I know that Gausman's going to have a distinct advantage maybe over the starter Bauman, but right now the way Baltimore's playing, I don't think it matters to me. at plus 150. I'm going to take Baltimore in game one, even with this limited information. But I do want to specify that I do need Gausman to be going up against Lyles in that game for my selection, Mindy.
Right.
Or at least Lyles. Lyles.
Right.
Remember what I said
Lions
yesterday?
have been kind of terrible as of late.
Yeah, I'm
You
sorry.
know.
Let me correct myself again.
Okay.
I want Bauman, even though he is, the inexperienced pitcher here.
Okay.
I just want my listed pitcher to go. I don't care. Gausman's the guy we're going to have to beat. We know that he's been, pretty strong. He's got a 3.0 ERA in his last 3 starts, and they have won all 3 of those starts. But I'm also seeing the line coming out now for game 2, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But this looks official to me that Toronto is going to be a considerable favorite with Gausman, and I get it. But the way Baltimore's playing right now, I'm going to take them plus $1.50. I hope I'm clear, everybody, on that.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing from you in the chat or anything like that, but I feel confident right now in the information that I just gave as far as the information about these pitchers coming out. Hello, G. Nice to see you. So go ahead, Min. Did you have any comment on that?
Not with that. Not with that change,
Did I
right?
confuse you?
I mean, I'm looking for. Gosman's probably going to have a quality start here in this game. Like I said, Lyles has been not great as of late. But
Okay,
again,
let me.
those numbers. No. I understand.
Okay, you're
Where I
talking
had it
doubleheader
before, right?
Okay.
Without the change in the Baltimore pitching there. So again, that's how I had my matchup originally, like you had. But since then, again, that minus 175, too big for me to take versus the Orioles. Totally agree with you on that.
And I'm going to bring it up real quick just so we can get a glimpse. And I'm checking the live odds right now on the line, on a major line service. So here it comes. So everybody can see it. Because they can get on it right now. For example, if they like this game in particular, that is it right there. That is exactly the situation we are looking at for game 1 in this important doubleheader. I mean, I don't think I'd make such a big deal about trying to make sure I get this right, but if it wasn't such an important doubleheader today between these 2 teams, so. All right, we'll just move on. I'll talk about game 2 in just a moment. Those lines are just starting to come in as well.
All right, so we got then Boston, walk on the mound, Tampa Bay, Patino, minus 110. Over under 7 in this one. Those Red Sox have been on a hot streak here of late. In the Rays, they're fighting for that, AL East crown here. But I think they're talking about Patino maybe being, recalled at some, at some point here in this one. I'm going to look at Boston here on the plus money in this one.
All right, Mindy, I'm going to be. You mentioned Boston being hot, and for all this, people who've kind of made Walker is he over the hill. They saw he's been great. He's been terrific for Boston in a season that has not been as Boston-like. But look at those numbers: a 2.56 ERA in 17 starts, and he's 3-0 in his last 3 starts. He's 10-1 overall, and they've won 13 of his 17 starts. So they really are in a good situation when Walker's on the mound. It's just that Tampa Bay has kind of owned the series against him. So look, both these guys have been, Patino's been pretty decent as well. 3.46 ERA, but a 1.62 WHIP over his last 3 starts. And the Boston bullpen, Walker is durable. He can go kind of deep, but I think if this total at 7, I'm going to go over 7 in Boston and Tampa Bay. You mentioned the hot bats. I keep talking about it. The Boston, I think they've been overlooked for how good that offense is performing right now because that's where that's where their success is coming from right now. And they're the only team, I believe, hitting over 300 over the last 10 days. So I'm going to go over 7 with Boston and Tampa Bay.
All right, next up, you have Peralta for Milwaukee on the mound. They're minus 151. At Colorado with Feltner on the mound. In this one, Peralta, I mean, he's kind of king of the strikeout right now. Just, tallying those Ks up, and the Rockies are just really terrible against those teams that are over 500. I have it down there like 24 and 44 versus those teams. And Feltner, he also gives up, the long ball also. So I'm going to look for the Brewers here at the minus 151.
Yep, and I'm giving you an updated line. I don't want to ruin your handicap. I'm not trying to
That's okay.
show you up. This is new information
No,
just
no,
coming
no.
across.
That's
But I
the
don't
whole
know.
point of our show is get
You're
all of
right.
this morning
You're right.
info out.
You're right. I feel like Tony. I'm looking at the updated information coming, and it's going to be a typical. It looks like how the Colorado totals have kind of gotten under control of late. Sometimes
Not
it's
sitting
been
at 11 and 12
even
no
if,
more.
but no, now we're back up to it. So I think when you
Oh, I
see a
gotcha.
total, right? I think when you see a total come as high as this one's going to come, and take a look, Hauser's pitching. I don't know if you have time to run your number on that, or if you wanted to change your information, but Milwaukee a much less favorite with Hauser on the mound here
Well, yeah.
instead of Peralta, and about $1.30 or so in this one. So and at 11.5, that's where I'm for the free pick. I'm going to go over because I just feel like it's it's warmer. I think in this day game, I just see that total. It almost strikes me as I don't even care about who's pitching in this game. I'm going to go over 11.5. But you don't have to reassess your handicap, but do you have anything to say with Hauser pitching now?
Uh, I'm not so
He's
sure.
been
You know what I mean?
Hauser's
Like,
been
I still think it's going to
11
be.
ERA his last three starts. Mindy, he's 0-3
Yeah,
in his last three starts. They've all gone over, and both guys are carrying a 5 ERA for the season. Feltner almost 6.
yeah, I mean, that's a huge difference from, Peralta sitting there too.
Sure.
So, I mean, again, once you see those 11 and 12, run lines, they usually tend to go over. So I think I'm going to head that way with you now.
I didn't look. Yesterday we gave out a two-teamer. I know we hit the Oakland Baltimore under, and we also hit. Mindy, we hit our parlay.
Heck
Okay,
yeah.
it was
Nice.
Oakland Baltimore under and Philly San Francisco over. Remember?
Yeah.
And we
We
said
did it.
they wanted us to make a parlay,
Parlay
but there
for
you are. We hit it yesterday. So if so, I don't know if this information, if we're going to agree on another one, but we'll slide this one, keep it in. If we find just one more, we'll add Milwaukee, Colorado. We're both in agreement on the over. And the shaky situation with the Milwaukee pitching change. But if we don't find two other games we agree on, maybe if we can find one other one, we'll have another parlay. And Milwaukee and Colorado over might be it. So we hit that one yesterday. Hopefully somebody got on it. I
Right.
want to hear from you in the chat. Is anybody
Yeah,
out
let
there?
us know how you did
We got
yesterday or what
over
your
a dozen
thoughts were.
people watching right now, and Mindy and I, we talk about it. We analyze these shows back because we want to see if we're getting some viewers. Otherwise, we don't want to do it, and we are, and they're going up every day. So we're happy to have you, and we're going to keep going. We want you every day to join us for the early show. All right, now we got Washington and St. Louis.
Yeah, so you got Sanchez on the mound for Washington's, Flaherty here for St. Louis. St. Louis, big favorites, minus 250. Over under total, 8.5 on this one here. The Nats are kind of a funny team here. We're scoring 18 runs over their last 3 games, but Sanchez is really just not so good here. And the Cardinals, they're 52 and 26 versus teams under 500. They're also 13 and 3 versus right-handers. So I'm not so sure Washington can get much going here today. I like St. Louis again, but the minus 250 is too big. Look for something maybe first 5 or minus 1.5 here on the run line. If it fits into your criteria.
There goes everyone wants to, bag on my guy
On
Sanchez.
this Washington team.
He's actually been very, very hot. We know he has a 5 ERA on the season, but just a 1.1 ERA and 0.8 WHIP in his last 3 starts. All of them have gone under, and Washington has won all 3 of those games. That's going to end today, Annabelle. I've stuck up for you. All these Tony's bashing you, Mindy's bashing you. I
Right.
stick up for you. Today, you're going to have a problem facing the St. Louis lineup. I think they are in a mode right now that they know they want to kick it in. Flaherty he's been shaky, no doubt about it, and has come back in his appearances so far. But I think he's a guy that I expect to. St. Louis is expecting him to be the Flaherty that we've seen in the past. So. Today would be a pretty good start for that. I think St. Louis though is going to get runs. I'm not sure if Flaherty's ready to full on go yet, and Washington did show some life with the sticks in that series. Batting pretty well. Washington 278 over the last 10 games. So I'm going to go over the 8.5. Premium was coming if it was, and there might be some 8s out there, but for the show, we're giving out a pick on every game, and I'm going to give out over in Washington and St. Louis. Okay, Mindy, I'm going to flash. I'm going to fix the graphic. We're going to get into the second game here. The line has just come out on the second matchup. It's going to be for Toronto, Berrios. He will be in there. And now for Baltimore in the second game will be Lyles. So I don't know if it's gamesmanship or if one team feels differently about the matchup over the other. Berrios is a minus 130 favorite, and the total is going to be 8.5. And we'll flash it on the screen for everyone because this is new information. That's another. You mentioned it. You said, that's what this show, and that's what I kind of wanted to also was breaking news. I've got my tweet deck open. I see the information coming across, and you'll see it right now on this information on this big doubleheader today. I want to be just perfect with the graphic. All right. So I don't know if you handicapped it from this or if we reassessed after we talked about the first game.
I like Berrios here in this one. I also have a slight lean to the over with those updated stats there. And so I'm going to look at taking Toronto here on the run line, slightly into the over with the updated information there.
Okay, and I am not ready to make a commitment. I'm not ready to. I'm not making. I can't commit. I do want to see what happens in game one. I know they're free picks. With Berrios, I will say this: with Berrios and Bauman going, I was going to go over. Now with this matchup, I know Lyles might be a little bit better, so I'm not so sure right now, and maybe I'll just need to see. Maybe I'll just need to see the second game is what I'm thinking. Let me see the first game before I commit. So I'm glad you have a pick there, and Tony had a pick too, but I think he had the pitchers a little bit
opposite, probably.
So I'm glad we have some information. We have this information out there. That's what we've done. We've done our job here. Okay, now we're going to get into my Padres and see what you think about this one, Mindy. After yesterday, I thought they almost were going to come back. They showed some life. They lost by. They lost.
You're really down by one there.
Right.
Yeah.
They brought in the wrong pitcher. I mean, I don't know why you don't bring in Nabil Cresmat at that point instead of Morahan, who's coming off the injury, doesn't have the experience that Cresmat does, even though he pitched pretty okay. So, anyways, they got Snell, who definitely is up and down. I know, a lot of people like Snell, but not every situation is perfect for Snell.
Yeah, but it's one of those versus the Diamondbacks. He is 3-0 versus the Diamondbacks with the .61 ERA. I believe Nelson's a rookie pitcher, right? I'm not real familiar with him, but again, to me, this just looks like I would probably go ahead and back Snell in this one. Again, minus 210 is too rich for my blood. I would probably maybe look at a first 5 innings, maybe laying a half a run if that fits into your criteria. the -1.5 kind of scares me maybe a little bit, just because the Diamondbacks have been, pretty hot with the bats here as of late.
Well, Ryan Nelson gets the call up for this one. Man, he's 24 years old, out of the University of Oregon. He's their top pitching prospect. He was Arizona's minor league pitcher of the year last year, 6'3", 3.17 ERA, 12.6 strikeouts per nine. So pretty strong numbers. And these are the type of games that the Padres, they end up not being able to compete. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna take Arizona. I'll take them on. I'll take them on the run line here. Uh, in this one, I think that'll be my play. I don't really trust Snell. I think Arizona, they've definitely been, they're terrible, right? I mean, come on, we all
Yeah.
know that they're not as good. But again, I've said that I think they've overachieved considering their record this season. And look at yesterday, Zach Gallen, perfect. Extended his streak. We talked about his scoreless streak now, like 40, I think 41 and a third
Yeah, I really like that
innings.
play.
So yeah, pretty strong in Arizona. Brent Strom is their pitching coach, the former Astros pitching coach, and he's obviously done a pretty good job with him. I think he's a hot name. He's getting kind of up there um, in age. I don't know if he, where he could land. I mean, he was with Houston for many years as a pitching coach, and it looks like he's doing a pretty good job with the younger pitchers over there. So San Diego, they have gone under in 11 of their last 16 as a favorite, and under has come in on 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams here in San Diego. I think we could be seeing a low-scoring game here. We'll see if Nelson is the real deal.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch him.
Yeah, I don't like the Padres at this price at all. I'll take Arizona, and I'll take them on the run line, and I hope that I'm wrong and the Padres crush them and keep on holding on to that wild card spot. It's not an enviable situation, especially if they end up playing St. Louis, where they are always doomed in the playoffs, anyways. So
Doom, imminent doom.
I'm pessimistic. Let's move on before I start crying.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this one at the opening. I was
Yes.
like, yeah, I mean, it kind of is like just one of those that it just feels, I hate saying the word, like it feels like a trap, but this one just feels strange to me because I see Lynn. I mean, he's 0-3 here on the road. White Sox have this terrible bullpen. Marco Gonzalez is good. Mariners here, they're averaging 4.5 runs per game. I don't see how this isn't an easy Seattle cover at the -115. But for whatever reason, those odds kind of scare me a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. But I mean, I would probably crush Seattle here on this one.
Yeah, well, look, now it's up to as high as 120, right? I mean, the
All
White
right.
Sox
So,
are the
so there is a
favorite.
little bit going there.
The
Okay.
White Sox are the favorite now. So the value, right? We say,
Yeah.
oh, there's value. I talk about this all the time, and people argue about what does it mean. And to me, the value is on Seattle because they were a -135, and now they're even money. So I
Yeah.
think Lance Lynn. Look, I don't. He's been pitching his best ball of late. 1.45 ERA and a 0.75 WHIP in his last 3 starts, all 3 of which did go under. So you do have him. He's a slightly under pitcher at 7 of his 12 games. Gonzalez under in 14 of 25. And under, though, only one of Seattle's last 8 home games has gone over. And the White Sox, I mentioned, have gone under in 5 of their last 16. Seattle hitting poorly right now, 208 over the last 10 games. I'm going to go under 7.5 with the White Sox and the Mariners. I think Lynn is pitching much better of late. Obviously, it's going to be a close game the way the line is set. So I'll take under. You take Seattle, and we got 2 plays on that one.
All right. Sounds good to me. Next up, Perez for Texas versus Brown for Houston. So I think this isn't, I can't remember much about Brown right now, but isn't he a newbie as well? I can't remember.
Hunter Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hunter Brown's story right now, this is going to be his major league
that's
debut
right.
in this one for sure. Uh, what happened was I think he was supposed to get the call on Friday. I think we maybe even some people might have talked about that,
Yeah,
but
that's the guy from Sugarland. That's right. Because I
yeah,
remember in the Sugarland the music group. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, because I had this one kind of for me as kind of looking at it more towards the past, just because I'm not really sure with that. But yeah, if I check him out, he was 9-4, 2.55 ERA. Versus Sugarland at Sugarland,
okay.
and I just have Perez, just not real consistent. Usually gets a little roughed up by that Houston batting order there as well. I mean, initially, I'd probably take a look at Houston here at the minus 160. Texas didn't really do much versus those Red Sox as of late. What's your thoughts?
Well, Perez is crafty. We know he's, definitely a pitcher out there. He's not going to overwhelm you, but 2.89 ERA this season. Here's a interesting, to note for a Texas team that, has been decent this season, obviously, but way under 500 now. They've kind of tailed off again. But for Perez, they've won 17 of his 26 starts. And you're talking about a Texas team that's like 18 or 17 or 18 games under 500. So Perez gives them a great effort every time he goes out there. And for Brown, I like what they're saying about him. I like the Houston bullpen, of course. I mean, they're right now the hottest again. Multiple times this season, they've had the best bullpen, and once again, it looks like they're the hottest again with a 1.29 ERA over the last 10 games. They're, not hitting terrific necessarily right now. I think Texas is hitting a little bit better than them, but going into Houston, I think they're going to make sure they got the bullpen ready for Brown, making his debut. So, unless he does something special and goes a little bit deeper into the game, they'll be into that bullpen. I'm going to go under 8 with
Cool.
Texas and Houston. Yep.
All right. So then we have the Guardians, McKenzie on the mound, minus 130, sitting at total of 7.5 at KC versus a Singer. So the only game I got to this year was Kansas City versus the Rays, and Singer was on the mound, and
Okay.
the guy had probably one of his best outings of his career. He had his career high strikeouts at 12. He's been actually
Hmm.
just pitching really, really nice as of late. But it's one of those you're catching a Guardians team at this time that's lost 4 straight. But I do like McKenzie on the mound. He's a pitcher I have here on my fantasy team. Has just done well. Cleveland has this little bit better lineup on this also. So it's one of those, like, it's kind of a tough game for me um, in this one, just because Brady Singer's been doing well as of late, but I really like
And
McKenzie.
before you make your pick, I just want you to look
Okay.
into, stare right at that camera and
Oh,
look at yourself. Take a long look at yourself and then make the pick.
okay, I'm gonna take Royals on the run line at plus 1.5.
I am going to take the Royals on the money line so we can agree. I'm going to take him. Look, I mean, McKenzie's terrific. Who knew? Who would have thought that he'd be Mr. Consistency out there? Yes, expectations were high, and maybe we want him to be a dominant pitcher. But when you can send him out there and get the kind of effort that you do each and every time, McKenzie's definitely done a nice job. But and again, Kansas City's bullpen's been shaky, no doubt about it. Cleveland's bullpen's been hot. But I'm going to go with Kansas City. So I wanted you to as well, since you were on the fence. I mean, I could feel it, and I
Well,
wasn't going to
it's
let
one
you
of
pick
those, like, I
against
don't
the
know if I
Royals
can
wearing
take
the
them
hat
to win
today.
in this game. You know what I mean? But but so that's why I was going to give myself a little bit more of an opportunity, taking them on the run line. But
Yeah.
let's go.
Well,
Let's go
there's no
Royals.
doubt which team has the hotter bats right now, and that's the
It's
Royals
it's Royals,
by
100%.
far. I mean, Cleveland's hitting just over 200 over the last 10 games, while Kansas City's hitting 280 over the last 10 games. They're going to be at home here. It's going to be close, tough, close, hard fought. probably be an under game. I mean, you're probably going to be looking at 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, somewhere right in there. And with the way these teams are performing, look, we know it's been a downtrodden season for Kansas City, but I want to take them here as a dog. That's why I want a dog today, and I think it's a good spot for
The
them.
dog of the day.
Make
All
you,
right.
yeah, make you take them, and you blame me.
Well,
But
I didn't,
you
I
took them
didn't,
on the run
you
line
didn't,
too. So
yeah. Again, I was trying to get there on the money line. That's, that was what I was trying to do. And I know that Cleveland team, has those talented bats, but have been playing bad of late.
yeah, and they own the Royals, but gotta
All
beat
right,
them.
let's do it. Go
Gotta
Casey.
beat them. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, for Detroit, you have Alexander versus Suarez for those Angels sitting at -175, 8.5 sitting there for the total. Perez or not Perez, Alexander. He's just kind of inconsistent as best at best. I think he's given up about 3 earned runs about every outing that he's had. He does have that. He's like 20th out of for barrel hit percentage. I mean, like they hit him hard. And Suarez, I think he's a pretty talented left-hander here. I like the Angels at the -175. I would also look for this, like say a first 5 here as well.
Okay, we're going to be in a disagreement here. Just I don't like the price. I think the Angels do not deserve to be $1.75 favorite over anybody at this point. So I'm going to take Detroit on the money line. I don't have much to back it up. You're right. I mean, Alexander's got an 8 ERA over his last 3 starts. I think Suarez has a 4 ERA this season. I will mention that Alexander, though, has gone under in 8 of his 9 starts. I think we are going to see a low-scoring game in this one. Angels are, really hot right now in the bullpen. There's no doubt about it. I'm taking a price play here with Detroit. I'm disagreeing with Mindy, but she's
A little
she
bit.
doesn't root
Only a
with her
little bit. Like
fandom.
you said, you could take the Angels on the first 5, and you can still get Detroit out there and get the
Well,
victory.
yeah, you'll never catch me doing crazy things like that. But you could do that. You could do that if you came on here saying they're going to take everything that Ramon and Mindy put up there. You're going to end up doing
You're like,
that.
don't do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but go ahead and take a look also at Tony's video. It's on the total. So if you don't like the fact that me and Mindy are disagreeing on this one, you could just go watch Tony's video and get a play on the total and just ignore everything we just said. But we're going to be in disagreement here. And again, I can't argue it too much, other than the fact that Mindy, you're an Angels fan. I mean, they have playing some crummy teams. That's when they sometimes pull an El Foldo and are not competitive. So,
The El
all right,
Foldo.
another big game out west to wrap it up.
Yeah. So, again, I think, personally, I think you just take the Dodgers every time, right? I mean, that's kind of the way it seems, but you have to pick your spots against them. So for me, I actually think the Giants, it's kind of getting down to must win for them. I think Webb is decent enough here in this game. I'm actually going to go for the Giants here. With the Dodgers coming off of that exciting win last night. They don't really have too much to play for, other than they have been that team that's been out there just scoring all the runs. But today I'm going to take the Giants. I'm just going to take a money line at the plus 160, 165.
Yeah, I liked the game yesterday when the Padres lost. One that I really like is the when they mic up the players. I know there's people out there, the tradition, do not do that. That's ridiculous. And I used to be Mr. And look, I'm an old guy. I used to be Mr. Traditional. Okay, so but I love it. I just think it was I think it's outstanding to listen to them right when they're in the middle of the gameplay. But they really were way off base once there was a break and they started asking like,
"What's your questions for Mookie Betts?"
Right. Well, it was the fans' questions, but they're like, who's the worst dressed guy? Would you rather bowl a 300 or, but again, they were killing time because that inning, usually they never have a situation where the inning goes. So usually when they mic up the guy, it lasts like it's a 1, 2, 3 inning, right?
Right.
So, but I do like them miking it up. I mean, but anyways, Logan Webb, yeah, he's been dynamite. I mean, 1.8 ERA over his last 3 starts. He is having some problems with the walks, no doubt, but they've lost all 3 of those games. But all 3 of them have gone under. Haney, we know that Tony's a big fan of Haney, and the Dodgers need all these pitchers because of all the bad luck. Bad luck. I don't know what to yeah, whatever you want to call it, but they've had their pitchers go off and on the disabled list, so they got to try to keep all these healthy. And right now, the Dodgers are just, they own the Giants. They've won 8 straight meetings against them right now. So yeah, Giants are in desperation situation. You get a great price with the Giants. I don't think there's any problem with taking them here. I don't know if they can win the game, but I
Right.
think with Webb, that definitely gives them a chance. But to me, I think of that total right there, 8. I'm going to go under with San Francisco and the Dodgers. I think I want my typical West Coast under right there, and that's what I'm going to take for my free pick. So good
Awesome.
information, great rundown of the baseball card. A lot better than when I'm half dead. And
Yeah, you kind of struggled a little bit there, Ramon, the other day.
yeah,
It's a rough
yeah,
one for you. I hope you're
feeling
feeling
great after the weekend. After the weekend and Sunday night, that's always a good night to rest a
better.
little bit with those games.
Until
I
next
watched.
week when you gotta watch some football. Well, I
Yeah,
guess you had to
well,
watch
yeah.
football last night
No,
too,
and
so
well, we did have the football, and I watched also. You talked about all the different sports. Talked about the tennis. Yannick Sinner is going again today, so we're still live with our 20-1 shot. But
that's
I
right.
also watched uh, my local guy. I say local, but just out here in California. He's about 100 miles east of here. But Andy Ruiz, he's definitely on the prowl to meet Deontay Wilder for a heavyweight championship. He beat the veteran Jose Ortiz yesterday in Los Angeles, and I like him. He's from a town out here called Imperial, California. It's out in the desert, big Hispanic influence. A short drive just from the border, and Ruiz, he's a big hero, and he's a Mexican American superstar, really, in the athletic world. Former heavyweight champion. And he won yesterday. Pretty
Nice.
convincing. It went 12 rounds, but he knocked the guy down 3 times. He almost lost every other round, but it was his knockouts that actually got him the win because he had 2, a 10-7 round and a 10-8 round, and got quick hands, just very slow of foot because he's a huge man. Maybe overweight, but you'd never want to meet him. You'd never want to meet him in an alley. So,
Yeah,
all
so you know
right.
our local guy, right? Bud Crawford, he's our local
Oh
guy
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Oh, oh. Talk about legends.
Right?
Okay, we'll get right into a college football game tonight. Another college football game, and I've got a premium in this one, Mindy. So I don't know how much too in depth I'm going to necessarily go into this one, but
Well,
look,
I can give my leans. I'm not going to personally make a premium, on this one. I'm going to take a look at maybe a little bit what happened last year, maybe a little bit of what's been returning. But for me, I'm going to look at Georgia Tech here covering. I'm going to take the points with Georgia Tech, the plus 23. I think Clemson's going to win this one. They do have a little bit of trouble, offensively at times, but
they
Georgia
should
Tech,
be improved. They should be
I
improved.
would, I would
I mean,
think
it can't be
so.
much worse considering they're Clemson.
Right, exactly. And then, for me, I also got a little bit of a lean to the over here in this one. So those would be my 2 free picks. Again, not quite enough for me to pull the trigger for a premium, but those are the ways that I would lean based off of historical data. There's like a 53% that you have the the home team covering and a little bit of edge to the over. So that's why I was looking just a little bit
Okay,
historically on that.
well, I'll side with you because that's what I was looking at as well. I think we're looking at a 3 touchdown game. I do, but I don't know if Clemson has enough. Quite it worries me because Georgia Tech really. I mean they've lost some. They
It's so
lost
hard
some
these
guys
first
too.
games out, because there really isn't, much to go by yet, and so you really have to take a look at coaching and talent and recruiting, and historical change, or historical events based off of line movement is kind of how I look at some of these.
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs ended up going now to Alabama, so you know we already know that Georgia Tech has had some struggles. They can really struggle offensively against good teams, and not too great here. Sims will the quarterback. I don't know about this running game, Smith and McDuffie, if they're going to be able to get much done. Meanwhile, Clemson. I mean, we know that DJ is going to be. Maybe he hasn't. He's still young for DJ. I mean, give this guy a chance, right? But look, he's got some good targets that maybe haven't been really seen out there as far as really making some big numbers. But Ngata, Spector, Collins can all have it. But they'll be running the ball big time with Shipley and Pace. Probably, I think running is the way that Clemson is going to want to operate in this one. So that might help the cause there, and keep the game reasonable and manageable, as long as Georgia Tech can wrap up and make the tackles here. But again, DJ has not shown the ability to be a totally air it out passer like he was in high school, when he could light it up, for 4 or 5 bills in a game. He's in a major program facing elite competition a lot of times. This is not one of those times. So maybe they'll loosen the reins a little bit on DJ to do some passing, but I think that they can rely so heavily on Shipley and Pace, and I think that's so key for Clemson. So I am going to agree with you, Mindy, and take. We're getting 23, right?
Yeah, getting 23.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be more of like a 3-score game. Might be one of those like happened with Oklahoma State, where they were out there covering, and then fourth quarter came through, took some players out, and then wound up backdoor cover there on that one.
Look, the earliest the summer line, if you will, was 18. So there's been no information that's changed the
Yeah, because I
personnel
think
in
it
this.
came out initially. I had at 21.5, and now has moved to 23.
Yeah, I think the standard opener was about 21
But
and
you
a
said you
half.
saw it as open as early as 18, huh?
Right, with that, we're talking about in the middle.
Yeah.
We're talking about the June line. But so to me, there's value on Georgia Tech, right? The bookmakers aren't gonna, even though limits are low, they're not gonna come in with a weak number. Maybe maybe the weak Georgia Tech, results, and the fans, the betters, maybe piling on here, possibly with Clemson to get it done. High profile Monday night game, only game in town type of thing. So I'll take Georgia Tech. I mean, I'm no reason why they should even be very competitive in the game, but they got Jenkins and Carter. Maybe those guys can get some catches. Thank you to our
It's really, I
comments.
think, going to
I
be.
got Gerardo. He's good for a play. Gerardo, please type in some plays for me. Our other chatters aren't doing anything. He wants to lay 2 touchdowns in the first half with Clemson. So maybe that'll work for you if you're looking to get involved with Clemson and don't necessarily want to lay more than 3 touchdowns. Gerardo has them getting up by 2 touchdowns. This is a handicapper that I've been with Mindy in YouTube chats for probably 5 or 6 years.
Oh, nice. So it's like old home week on the Ramones show, the morning
He's a
steam.
very respected handicapper, not just by
Nice.
me, but by many hosts. He chimes in with selections
Well,
all
good.
the
I'm
time.
glad that Gerardo, you're here today.
Yep. 2 games are going to be in the CFL. I don't know if you, I did mention. I'll flash the lines up there just to let everyone know. This is the one that's at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific. It's the Argonauts and the Tiger Cats. Check out my videos. That's where I have the free plays. So you don't have to give anything out, Mindy, or analyze.
Yeah, I don't have anything on these, unfortunately.
Labor Day.
I'm going to look at maybe being able to do some work on these next year. So
yeah, we're in the I think it's the end of week 13 or right now. So
yeah, because I haven't really followed it, really in the past. So I'm going to take a look next year. I think it should be fun.
And I will say that these teams are meeting. This is the fourth meeting in 5 weeks between these two teams from Ontario. So they're tired of each other at this point. Hamilton is 3-8. Toronto is 5-5. Toronto's won 2 of the 3 meetings this year. Toronto won 30-27 on August 26th. The home teams have won all 3 meetings. I will tell you this, Mindy. Hamilton has a league worst -21 turnover ratio.
Oh my
The
gosh.
next worst team is Saskatchewan at -10. So this team turns the ball over big time, more than
I
any
did see that
team in
Saskatchewan
the
covered.
league.
'Cause I
Yeah.
thought that was an interesting play there with the Blue Bombers. I did see that they covered 20-18, that three and a
Yeah.
half. Because I
Yeah.
was surprised, because like, just me looking at all the numbers, I was like, man, 3.5, that seems awful low, even for, teams I don't really follow. If you're just kind of taking a look at, some of the lines and the spreads, some of the stats, just like eyeballing them, right? So I
Yeah.
thought it was I mean, I didn't play it or anything, but I thought it was an interesting game to watch. And I've been following it a little bit more this year, just because, you've been into it. And so it's something I might give a tryout next year and
Yeah.
see
And how
how
about
my
this, Mindy?
formula works on the
Uh,
CFL.
Halftime, and I had a premium on the game. I had a premium on the over. It was 17-17 at halftime, and the total was 44.
Oh
And
man,
I
you're like,
lost.
I'm well ahead.
Mindy, do you ever do any like work uh, in your life, and then like you feel like it's gone for naught?
Sure.
I just want to tell you that the Mets and the Pirates have been rained out. They'll make it up
Oh,
as part of a doubleheader on Wednesday, September 7th. So
the
that's in
I
2
mean, the
days.
game that we all couldn't wait to happen at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. The best game on the slate.
The Mets and the Pirates. They'll play a doubleheader on Wednesday. So 1 game tomorrow, then 2 on Wednesday. And again, a little bit different situation, but that game last night when I was talking about how the in the Cleveland uh,
Seattle.
Seattle game, these are often the last trips into the particular towns, and those teams, Seattle particularly, Seattle, when you're in playoff contention, it becomes more important. A lot of times they'll lose a game or two on the end of the schedule. You got 2 crappy teams playing one another, and it rains out. We're gonna get on a plane right now. We're not even gonna sit this one out. We'll play
Right.
161 games, unless it's
Yeah, it was crazy.
somebody.
We had 3 teams there on rain delay all at the same time yesterday.
Yeah, and the rain. We already know that the weather is so tricky this time of year. We see in football games that delays in football games all the time too. And I remember you heard us, myself, Tony complaining about the 100-degree temperatures this week. Well, it was followed up tonight with thunderstorms. So it's like 95 degrees and raining. So all right, and one other game. This is the second game of the doubleheader. The traditional these teams in the CFL on this weekend. These are all the same matchups every year. It's a tradition.
Is it
Edmonton is
really?
going to take
Okay.
on the Edmonton Elks are going to take on the Calgary Stampeders. The Eskimos. I mean the Elks. Can't believe they changed. I know
Yeah, change their names.
I get it. I get it. Edmonton is 1-4 against the spread against teams above 500 in the last 5 occurrences. Calgary's 5-1 against the spread against teams under 500 in their last 6 occurrences. Calgary's a 12.5-point favorite here. Total close to 50. Last meeting, Calgary won 49-6, and Calgary won the meeting in Edmonton 30-23. This is the 3rd meeting of the season. The Elks, though, I will tell you, they were in a similar situation, not quite this big of spread, but they did come in on Labor Day last year and won right here at McMahon Stadium and won the game. So Calgary, though, they're coming off a win. You talked about Winnipeg. I know you follow the league enough to know that Winnipeg is destroying the records this year with their winning mark, but Calgary lost to Winnipeg just 30-29 in their last game. So they're playing well. That's why they're a 12.5-point favorite in this one. Edmonton missing probably their 2 key playmakers. Lawler is out. He is their top playmaker, and Arsenault is their other top receiver. He's already been out for a couple of weeks. So Edmonton's having all kinds of personnel problems. and they rank last in most categories in both offense and defense. Their 3-8 record actually might be a bit of a mirage. They might actually be worse than that. So, all right. I don't know what else you got. There's tennis today. Like I said, Yannick Sinner going to be in action. Our 20-1 bet from a few weeks ago.
Yep, our prop.
Still alive. So the matches will start at 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 Pacific. We're definitely we're down to like 8 matches a day right now. Featured players, you got Swiatek taking on Julie Niemeyer. Also, a big match for the American, Pegula going up against Petra Kvitova. Vika is going to be taking on Pliskova. Sinner is up against Ivashka. And the late features tonight include Danielle Collins, the American. She's playing well. She's going to take on Sabalenka. And on the men's side, you got the hot young star Alcaraz taking on the veteran in Marin Cilic. So that's your late match. And that starts at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. So they'll wrap up kind of early at the U.S. Open. That will probably go, I don't know. Alcaraz, maybe he's a player that might be best suited for clay or grass, but
Gotcha.
here on the hard courts, we'll see. All right, there's also some soccer action. Check out our show with Paul Lagaretos at 2:15 Eastern, 11:15 Pacific for some top-notch action today. Also, we know WNBA semifinals coming up later this week. Mindy, I don't know if you have any other we could go over the NFL lines. I think we might be I don't know. We're supposed to. Well, let me run them down for you, and we'll get out of here on that. If you have any comments on the games, you can stop me. But let's just maybe read off those opener with the Rams, and we're going to talk about them on the day of the games. And we're our NFL preview is going to be on Sunday. We want you to be here for Sunday. We're going to be so fired. I might have breakfast right here sitting next to me, and eating and talking and everything. I always loved getting together. Now I just stay secluded, but I love to make a big breakfast and eat, during football, especially playoff games. But everybody knows the Bills and the Rams. That's going to be the big one. The Bills 2.5-point favorite right now, and the total 52.5 in that one. What do you, Mindy? That first game, I don't know what to break down, but obviously, the rematch. If you're not the rematch, the possible Super Bowl preview. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you on that. Kind of like the Rams. Kind of surprised they're getting a couple points there.
And we'll just go over all these opening lines and then wrap up the show. These will be the 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific games. Current lines coming in. Just going to give like a consensus line. The Ravens are 6.5 at the Jets. Total 44.5. Saints -5.5 at Atlanta. 42.5. Dolphins are at home, laying 3 against the Patriots. Total 46.5. Carolina, the favorite now. Cleveland started the favorite, but we see with Mindy, go ahead. Give me a comment on that one.
Yeah, so we know what it's going to be, right? Baker Mayfield playing against his old team. So
worthy of making him a favorite, though, against a Cleveland team that still should have some defense, despite whatever's going on with their quarterback.
I just think, just the way that Cleveland runs the ball there as well. I mean, I like Jacoby Brissett as well.
So the Panthers 2.5 total,
backups possible,
41.5. Also, the Bengals 6.5-point favorite against Pittsburgh. Who's going to be the quarterback for Pittsburgh? We're still waiting. San Francisco -7.5 at Chicago. Total 41. The Eagles a 3.5-point favorite on the road against the Lions. The Colts an 8-point favorite, Miss Matty Ice at quarterback at Houston. Houston, obviously one of the lower ranked teams in the league, but they got a quarterback that has been part of the program, and Houston just kind of grinding it out. They're getting 8 points from the Colts. The Jaguars are going to be 3-point underdogs against the Washington Commanders. I don't think there's any shortening of the name. I think we just got to say Commanders, because you can't call them any Commanders -3, total 43.5. Kansas City on the road at Arizona, 3.5-point favorite, total 54. We are into the afternoon block, starting with that game right now. The game that, of course, socially piques my interest. Mindy, the Raiders and the Chargers. I was a Raiders fan until I was 8 years old, and when Kenny Stabler rolled that ball and Van Egan kicked it, and the ball was falling on the end zone, I switched to the Chargers. Didn't want to be associated with any kind of conduct like that. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites, total 52.5. Packers, the Vikings. Packers a 2-point favorite, total 48. Giants and Titans. Titans 5.5, total 43.5. Sunday night, it's Tampa Bay and Dallas. Tampa Bay is a 1-point favorite, total 50. And Monday night, they got one of those Monday double headers, if you will, right? No, just one this year. Just one this year, right? Denver and Seattle. Denver's a 6-point favorite, and the total 43. And obviously, Mindy, the storylines there are obvious as
So
well.
how does Russell Wilson get a 5-year extension without playing a game?
Well, again, I mean, look,
Just
there's talk
exuding
about
confidence in the lack of receiving core.
there's talk about overpaying for him or whatever. I mean, you're still going to get a lot of production from Russell Wilson unless he gets injured. That'd be too bad. I mean, that'd be
Right.
you're not going to say like he's not an injury prone player. He's missed some time here and there, but he's a durable guy who's he's a competitor. Might not have all the physical tools that he once had, but there are only a few You can't all have an elite quarterback. You got to have somebody, and there are a few that you would take over Russell Wilson for a whole game or for a 2-minute drive. If you were given some of the other options in the league, you'd opt for a guy like Russell Wilson. So, I don't think he'll ever fulfill
The
that
Broncos
contract.
defense has been, decent. That's kind of what kept them in games, last year. So maybe they're kind of hanging their hat on that. And then also, I just think the Seahawks are just going to be terrible. I'm not really a Geno fan. They, kind of lost their running back. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I kind of like the Broncos in that one. But again, I still think, I don't know if Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy is going to be that big number one for Russell Wilson, like a Metcalf or something. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I was really surprised without even playing a game. They loaded him up with another $425 million.
And a player that I covered as a community college player who really had turned out to be to have a nice NFL career that he worked very hard to achieve. Tim Patrick, he's out for the season with
right,
an injury, so that was too bad because he was probably poised to have. He's been pretty productive and hasn't been a star or anything, but effective and good. And I watch him closely, so I've been very impressed with his path to the National Football League, but it was just heartbreaking that he got that injury. So look, and here's the other thing though: Russell Wilson will never earn that contract on the field, right? I mean, I would think, but he probably will earn a lot of it at the box office. I think it's a big draw. I think it's a big draw.
100%.
The team that already draws well, but I mean, Denver has had. Look at their quarterback situation. It's been really the biggest disaster of the whole franchise in the Elway era. And now at least that's stable, right? I mean, even if it's not Russell Wilson, the Russell Wilson,
not Tim
he's the quarterback and he's going to, bring it every game. And we're not going to see him get benched, I don't think.
Right. Agreed.
All right, Mindy, a good hour plus with you, hour and 15. Unless you got anything else to discuss, we'll cash it out here on the Morning Steam. And again, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. Thank you. We got up to I think 18 or 17 live, so that's good enough for me. But we'll seeing those numbers go up every time too, so I'm happy about that. And we'll catch you tomorrow when we'll probably start looking at college football. Especially on some of those slower baseball cards Wednesday and Thursday too.
That's right.
One more comment.
We were just talking about the Mets too.
No, just tell them, Mindy. Strag must have just got here.
Yeah. So the Mets and Pirates have been canceled. Planning to get a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yep, or Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. My bad.
Rained out. We'd never cancel you, man. No, we might. So, anyways, thanks a lot, Mindy.
Delayed, canceled, suspended into
Yep.
the next couple days. So you got to pick someone else to hurt your 3-team parlay today.
Yep. And so I did win that one. Yes, that was one
That's
I
right.
won yesterday.
That was fun one to watch. Ramon won the arm wrestling match with his guy Fetty.
That's right. That's right. All right, we'll catch you on the morning steam tomorrow for Mindy Hahn. I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us for the morning steam.
Thanks.